If you want to learn about America's fight against the Islamic State, start here. This one ship carries 5,000 people and a strike force of 60 jets. The Paris attacks prompted a timely reminder of what it's all for.
Good evening, shipmates. This is Chaplain Thames. We pause this evening to give mind to our French coalition partners who grieve the vicious murder of at least 12 of their countrymen in Paris today at the hands of the same men motivated by maniacal and ruthless forces, the forces that we battle in Iraq and Syria. It takes every single one of us to carry this fight and help stem the tide of tyranny and hatred.
The Carl Vinson is a supercarrier, a collection of superlatives and outsized statistics.
I've got over 3,000 sailors. We operate a ship that's over 1,000 feet long with 2 nuclear reactor plants and 4 very strong engines. I've got a lot of self-defense weaponry. I've got an ability to repair almost anything that breaks on my ship, and I can stay at sea for a very long time.
Early morning. Vinson may be nuclear powered, but it regularly meets support vessels to replenish.
We gotta run that lifeline.
It's a tricky feat of seamanship, requiring them to sail dangerously close to each other for 2 hours.
Right now, these ships are about 180 feet apart from each other. You know, 2 ships being that close proximity, traveling through the water, it's a dangerous evolution right there.
With the ships connected, 600,000 gallons of jet fuel, 144 bombs, and hundreds of tons of stores came on board. That gives a sense of the scale and cost of this.
This whole effort, involving thousands of people using billions of dollars worth of equipment, is required to put just a couple of hundred aircrew over northern Iraq and Syria. But what the Pentagon knows is that this one ship is now providing nearly a third of the coalition's airstrike power, and that it does so from a base that is free from any political restrictions.
The business of this ship is launching missions. And in less than 3 months on station, they've flown more than 1,000 against ISIS. Lieutenant Commander Mike, he'd rather we didn't use his real name, is getting ready for one over Iraq.
I always have to be the second person that gets in the plane. I like to have the Wizzo get up there first. That's like my only superstition. You got any superstitions?
Yeah, I put my name tag on my left shoulder.
Yeah.
And right before I leave, I take it off.
Many missions don't release their weapons. It's not easy finding a target in the chaos below.
It's interesting when you first check in, you'll be over a city and urban area. You won't exactly know who's who, who's where, and you'll just see just tracer rounds. There's lots of people shooting at each other, don't always know who's shooting at what, if they're just shooting at nothing, if where the friendly positions are, where the enemy positions are.
Good.
Each jet carries a selection of bombs and missiles.
This wing has 2 500-pound JDAM, GBU-38, and an AGM-65, which is a Maverick.
Few pilots know their target before taking off.
You ready to rock? Let's do it.
Instead, their missions can last hours, loitering over Iraq, refueling multiple times from airborne tankers, until maybe they get given a target. There's always danger in this. In September, 2 jets from this ship collided and crashed, with the loss of 1 pilot. With one set of missions launched, another must be recovered. We look out for planes that have dropped weapons, and then we spot one.
It's great to come back to the PC that you saw me with the other day. He launched us. I high-fived him before we got in the jet, and I told him I hope we come back with fewer bombs, because the air crew and the ground crew working together they want to see us succeed just as much as anything else. Whether the mission was boring or exciting or no matter what happened, you just have to focus on your landing, because it's a very focused couple of minutes and into what most people describe as a controlled car crash.
So does the recent capture of a Jordanian pilot by ISIS play on their minds?
It's a different kind of enemy, but I think out of self-preservation, it's not really something that we think about too often. Because if you're worried about what if or the worst case scenario, it makes it harder to go execute your job.
Our own unscientific survey and talking to crews suggests 30 or 40% of combat missions from the carrier are using bombs or missiles. That's up compared to the early days of this. The ship's commanders, though, won't confirm that, but do suggest that hundreds of weapons have been used and replaced.
You brought a load of bombs on yesterday.
Yeah, I brought 144 of them on. That's a good sign. That means we dropped 144 at some point.
The carrier provides a platform immune from the political constraints of many land bases.
You want to hook own ship?
We noticed also that sometimes we were little more than 30 miles from the Iranian coast, a measure of the easier relations America now has with the Islamic Republic.
Okay, copy that. Thanks.
Iran was regarded as the main potential adversary here for international shipping, for the US. How have things changed?
Our interactions have been within the realms of international norms and very, very professional. And I don't see any change in that over the near term, at least while we're here.
This ship task group has been operating for more than 2.5 months in this area. What do you think you have achieved against the Islamic State so far?
Well, as the President has said, our job here is to degrade and then ultimately destroy ISIS. And I think we have succeeded in blunting ISIS momentum. And I think as we continue and the Iraqi ground forces get stronger and more capable, that the synergy of the air campaign and the ground campaign with our Iraqi partners will have a great effect and ultimately achieve the desired end state, which is the degradation and then ultimate destruction of ISIS.
Below the chaotic ballet of the flight decks, thousands of people get replenished too. The ship has several places to eat. This one galley produces 10,000 meals a day.
The Mongolian night is the craziest one. Sailors go and pick what vegetables, what pasta or rice, what sauce they want, and we put it in the grill like we're the wok. We cook it, give it to them, and they're happy.
The Carl Vinson's cruise will last 9.5 months. They're just over halfway through. Most of the crew remain out of harm's way, working their watches day after day, month after month, while the air crews pummel the enemy. The US Navy can keep this up for as long as it takes.
There's more than 5,000 people on board here, all with their own trades and business to do each day, self-contained and of course far from the battlefield. And even the people who run the ship talk about the need to remind the sailors of their connection to the fight.
Taps, lights out. Maintain silence about the deck.
It's night before the mission we watched set off for Iraq 7 hours earlier returns. Deck landings seem even more dangerous at night. Planes that miss the arresting wire have to power back into the sky and try again. Mike's plane hooks on first time.
Could you give us a quick impression of the mission, how it went?
Yeah, it was a little bit longer than we anticipated. The weather wasn't too good up there, but we did a lot of hanging around and waiting to be called upon if needed, but wasn't too much going on this evening.
So you brought all the ordnance back, did you, on the plane?
Yeah. So ordies have to download it right now, just to get it ready for being placed anywhere on the flight deck or getting ready for a different flight tomorrow. So That's all right, though. We're out there just in case they needed anything. Worked out.
Nobody thinks of this as a quick mission. The captain told us they were working the ISIS target a couple of bodies at a time. But this ship, and those that follow it on this station, can produce raids day after day, month after month, for as long as the Pentagon deems their mission effective.
Keep station, O Lord, and grant a safe night's passage to United States ship Carl Vinson and carrier strike Group 1.